All right, let's demonstrate how to find the equation of line through these 2 points using arrow diagrams. The answer will be in point slope form. All right, so we start out with our basic linear function, which goes through the points 0, 0, and 1, 1. And then we may have to make up to 2 adjustments to the outputs of that, and possibly 2 adjustments to the inputs. And so that picture looks like this. This is the input over here where the x's are going to go. This is the output where the y's are going to go. So my points up here, I'll call this x1, y1 for reference purposes, and x2 and y2 there. If I put -9 in for an x, by the time I get through everything, I'm supposed to be to 15. And the input of 6 leads me to an output of -2. All right, my first step is to look over here. This right now, between 0 and 1, there's a gap of 1 unit. Between 15 and -2, there's a gap of 17 units. And I actually have to, I'm going to call that a gap of -17, because to get from 15 down to -2, I've got to go down 17. This becomes what I want to use as a multiplier here. So I'm going to multiply by -17 so that 0 times -17 is 0, and 1 times -17 is -17. And now the gap between these is -17, just like the gap between these is. And to get a 0 to be a 15, then I'm going to have to add 15 onto that. 0 plus 15 makes 15. -17 in this parentheses plus 15 gives me a -2. So that's a double check that that worked. On this side over here, from -9 to 6, to get from -9 to 6, I got to get from -9 to 0 and then 0 to 6. So 9 plus 6 is 15 places that I have to go up here. So I'm going to multiply here by 15. So this gap, which is 1, will now become a gap of 15. 0 in this parentheses times 15 is 0. 1 times 15 is 15. Okay. And now, to get from 0 to -9, I'm going to have to subtract 9. That says -9. Let me clean that up a little bit. So -9. 0 in the parentheses minus 9 gives me a -9. 15 minus 9 does give me a 6. Right, so all of the steps create the connections between these. I want to make an equation, which means I have to be able to get from the inputs all the way to the outputs. So I need some paths that go this direction. If I want to get from -9 to 0, I'm going to have to add 9. That also happens to be the inverse operation of subtracting 9. 6 plus 9 also gives me 15. I've got to get a change of 15 into a 1 here, so that's going to require division by 15, which is the inverse operation of multiplying by 15. 0 divided by 15 is 0. 15 divided by 15 gives me a 1. So everything's working here. I'm going to start with the x. The x goes into this first set of parentheses and gives me an x plus 9. The x plus 9 is now at the end of this arrow. That means it goes into the parentheses on the next arrow, which says divide by 15. The x plus 9 divided by 15 is now right here, and it goes into the next arrow, which is just an empty set of parentheses that says don't do anything at all to that. Okay? But the next set says multiply by -17. So I'm going to do negative 17 times that. Now, to make it look a little bit more like the point slope form, I'm going to take the divided by 15 out from under the x plus 9 and put it under the negative 17. That will make it a negative 17/15 times x plus 9. That's what came out of this arrow. And so that's at the beginning of this one, and this one says take everything that you have so far and add 15 to it. And now you are at y, and this is the equation that we're looking for.